Ahead of his co-main event fight against Michal Oleksiejczuk at UFC Abu Dhabi this coming Saturday, Shara Bullet Magomedov has revealed how a potential future fight against Khamzat Chimaev would go down. Hoping to continue his undefeated streak this coming Saturday, Shara Bullet Magomedov will take on his sternest test to date during his UFC tenure, facing off with the gritty Michal Oleksiejczuk. Last time out, the undefeated Russian took on Antonio Trocoli, who was making his first UFC outing. Following that win, Magomedov called out Kevin Holland, but unfortunately, he wasn't granted his wish. The 30-year-old, despite being a top prospect in the division, isn't the top prospect in the division. That is if Khamzat Chimaev can still be considered a prospect. Despite having only competed at 185 pounds a few times during his UFC tenure, Borz is still regarded as a future champion, even though he continues to struggle to get into the Octagon. Having said that, fans have already begun to think about a possible future matchup between Chimaev and Shara Bullet, with them both being regarded as futures of the division. With that, Magomedov has stated how he thinks a fight between the two would go. "Even if I get taken down, it doesn't matter because my elbows are gonna do the job that they're there to do, so it's not a big deal to be taken down. I'm always going to be dangerous and I'm ready to defend takedowns, but if I end up on my back I will do whatever I can to keep damaging him," Magomedov said at the UFC Abu Dhabi Media Day. Chimaev's future is still relatively unknown considering he withdrew from his scheduled main event against Robert Whittaker this past June due to ongoing health issues. Originally, the co-main event for the UFC's return to Abu Dhabi was the return of Nick Diaz, as he was scheduled to take on Vicente Luque, but unfortunately withdrew from the fight. The UFC decided to add Shara Magomedov to the card as he is a big name in the Middle East. Despite that, Bullet has claimed that if he is victorious this weekend, he would like to fight Diaz next. "I don't know the exact ins and outs of how things get put together, I just know that I guess Vicente Luque isn't very interesting for this location specifically or just in general, so I'm happy I'm gonna be in the co-main event and I'm gonna go out there and win. Once I do, if Nick Diaz wants to accept a fight against me, I'm happy to put on the weight and then fight against Nick Diaz if I have to, but other than that, it's business as usual. I'm gonna come out there ready to do my job. I'm ready to go, I'm gonna show an interesting fight," Magomedov added. A win over a name like Nick Diaz would go a long way in building Shara Bullet into the big star he hopes to become, but first, he must get past the tough polishman this weekend.